Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boss Babe Blog Podcast. I am your host, Katan, founder of BossBabeBlog.com. And today's discussion is really just giving entrepreneurs a chance to think about different ways that they can gain stronger relationships with their clients so that they can retain customers and clients and so that maybe they can meet and attract new ones. So today I have two wonderful guest speakers. We have Shalon joining us from Sister to Sister Wellness Spa based in Mesquite, aka DFW, Texas. And we have Devron Lee, who is joining us, and he is representing Devron Lee LLC tonight, but he also is a founder of the Black Lion podcast. And he also has a new wellness brand that we were talking about on our previous show or on our previous get together. So, welcome both of you. Did either of you want to start off the conversation with your own information on what you think people can do to retain and have great relationships with their clients?
I don't mind going first.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you, ma'am.
so I am Shalon from Sister Sister Wellness Spa, again located in Mesquite, Texas. I specialize in post-op care, but also in all body work. So, if you're looking for wellness, relaxation, detox, I am your girl. So we have something for everybody. So one thing that I tell like that I trained before in customer service. To me, you really have to be a people person. Some people not people person. I mean, some people are not should be in customer service. I say it like that, right? And so, if you want to retain clients, you have to understand them. So sometimes it get personable. Sometimes, they become like your sister, your friend, your brother. You know, they come in if they enjoy your spirit. So it's about a vibe. It's about the spirit. A lot of times I tell people like you can't understand a person through text. So texting is a big issue nowadays. You need to hear their voice. Sometimes a voice speaks volume, and so calling a person versus texting, or nowadays where we have automation, and so that is it could be mind blowing too. Sometimes you can get so busy where you have to have that automation, but you still want to be in touch with your clients. Um, in the beginning, when I first started, which was 2020, of course we was doing COVID, but I knew I wanted to start some kind of business, and so I remember one of the mentors. They was I always said to lunch, you gotta lunch 2, 3, 6 months ahead of time. So that's like telling people like, hey, I'm coming out with a new product, or hey, I'm coming out with a new business idea. And then educating them, not just like giving them selling tips, but educating them about your product or about your service. So when I first started, I was doing body sculpting. People know what body sculpting is, but they don't know what body sculpting is. So if I say, hey, y'all, I'm doing cavitation, they'll be like, what the heck is cavitation? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so what I did was I would always post and say, hey, this is what I can help you do. This is what my new brand, my new business is gonna do. And so people got engaged. They was asking me like, when you starting? When you starting? But I like I said, I started promoting 6 months before I even started the business. I was looking for somebody to train me um prior to that. And so when I got the training, I went on there. But with the customer service side, what you have to look at too is social media. Everybody on social media. So if you on social media and you bashing, oh my God, they not even liking, or they not even responding to my post. Like family and friends ain't nothing. Like that's not good customer service. Like you can't be on social media bashing another company, another business, or even bashing your family or friends because they're not supporting you. So that's one thing. Like you can't be on social media bashing people. But two, you want to always, you know, see what your client is actually looking for. You got some that's going to come back, and you got some that's going to stick with you for years because they just love what you do. And you can't take offense about it if they don't come back. But you still can text them, send them an email, send them a message, say, hey, I miss you know the emails or whatever you send out, hey, I miss you. Here's 10% off. Can't wait to have you back. Um I noticed I haven't, seen you in a while, so having those moments of like refreshing and staying in touch with them, on occasions. So you can, get that client back. Retaining clients, again, is all about customer service. It's about how you present yourself the first time y'all meet. A lot of times people, they talk about other places they went and this happened. We all have bad experience with a restaurant or, travel or anything that has customer service. But like I tell people, you can't always go off the first time. You got to give them another chance to mess up or do good. And then after that experience, then you can say, yeah, I'm not going back. So
Yeah.
again, it's just about just building relationships and having that good customer service and having a good vibe, a good spirit, so people can see that. If they feel like you negative as soon as you get in or you rushing them, people not gonna come back. And then one other thing that I used to tell people that I train: know your product, know what you're selling, because if you start to stumble and I'm asking you, well, what's in, you know, X, Y, and Z, and you like, well, I don't know, let me find my book so I can tell you. No. We used to have skits we used to do and be like, you gotta be on top of your stuff, because if I come
Yes.
to you and I'm getting my hair done, I'm like, girl, I want me some finger waves. You gotta be strong enough to say, girl, your face is
Yeah.
not built for finger waves. You know
And
what I'm
because
saying?
as a customer, I'm getting nervous if you're getting nervous when I'm just asking you the question. I had this happen when I walked into a salon one time years ago, where a person was like, I walked in and I looked at the woman that was standing there who was, sitting people and stuff. And I said, hey, could I speak to one of your stylists that's working today? And she was like, oh, yeah, here she is. So I go up to the stylist and I was like, hey, are you comfortable with doing like, my hair, my style of hair or my texture of hair? And she looked at me and she stared at me for a while and she was like, yeah, I can. No, no, ma'am. No.
You scaring me
I'm getting
already.
up out of here. I'm out of there. I left so quick. It was a quick redirect. I said, okay, thank you so much. I'll definitely take a flyer. And, when I'm on my break, if I get some time, I didn't come back to that place. I was not going back because,
Mhm.
you're already nervous and uncomfortable and insecure about me just asking you about it. As a customer, that doesn't make me feel like you're the one to go to. And then what you said earlier, too, about bashing people. I've seen where a person had a negative experience with a customer. Vice versa, they had a negative experience with another business owner. And they went online and they tagged this person and they shared a whole bunch of people. And the thing about that is that even if you are right, you have to understand that a lot of people don't know you. So if the first thing that I see on your page is you bringing other people down or trying to be negative or trying to be antagonistic, that doesn't make me feel like you might be the safe space for me to go to. Like if you're a wellness professional and I see you posting about other people and their lives and shaming them, that doesn't make me feel confident that I want your wellness services now that I've seen how you engage with people. And then same thing for other entrepreneurs. Even though entrepreneur may have done something and you may well be in your rights for how you feel, if you respond and you react that way, other entrepreneurs that don't know you who could potentially partner with you will see that, and that might determine whether or not they see it fit to work with you. And it could be your loss, their loss, both of you guys' loss, because it could have been a wonderful collaboration. Um, I've experienced that. I've seen that. And sometimes that for me will be the thing that'll make me say, no, I'm okay. Because solution oriented people tend to be people who are not focused on the drama or the emotions that will come from something. They're focused on the solution. So, how do I get to what I need? If I'm upset because I didn't receive a service, where's your customer service line so I can send a message and get my help? Now, if somebody's trying to scam you and they're not being integrity based, that's a different story. You got to get your word out there. You have to let people know what's going on. But even then, to your bank, to the customer service, to the Better Business Bureau, wherever it is. But that's usually what solution oriented people do because they don't have the time to focus the energy on trying to bring and drag people down so harshly and so negatively. So when you think about people that want solutions, that's where they're attracted to people that look like they are the solution. If you are always presenting the problem, never presenting a solution, that doesn't make me feel confident that you're going to be the person to solve my problems. So I definitely
Mhm.
resonate with both of those things that you said. And the thing that you said about the people person. Oh my goodness. I have listen, listen. I had if I could just replay some of the messages and some of the responses that I've seen from individuals, like one time a person left a message and they were like, if you could just call back and do da 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 da. and they're a business professional in a customer based industry. And I was like, first of all, why? Who raised you? I just want to know. I
And why are you
want to know.
hollering at me? Why is you
Like, I've
hollering
been
at me over the
raised
voicemail?
by
Like I'm right
wolves.
there.
Yes. And you know what? Let me not even blame it on mom, because mom probably taught you how to talk to people and you just did your own thing. You just freak remixed it. But when you experience stuff like that, it almost makes you wonder, like, why would you be in this industry? If these kind of things get you so angry, why are you in an industry where you're going to deal with this over and over again? Because that's the
It,
reality of,
it's bad now, like at like doctor's office and stuff. Like, why you so rude? You at the front desk,
yeah.
like when you go places and the first person you see is restaurants. Oh my God, I even my daughter that's 22, when she
Mhm.
started out, I'm like, look, you go presentable. I say you smile. I say if you want some tips, you better be nice.
Yeah.
But then it's like, presentation, the way you look. I'm like, you clean uniform, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you have to present yourself to the public if you won't, you don't want people talking about you. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
just people just, oh
And
God, it's
acknowledge,
bad.
like, I think what it is people, everybody saw the wave of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, being a franchise owner, and they jumped on it. But what they didn't realize is that the work that comes with that is professionalism, social skills, selling skills, learning how to problem solve. You have to have these things as well if you want to see faster growth in your brand. But a lot of times people jump in there. You saw your cousin, you saw your friend have a business. So you said, I want a business too. But then when it comes time to do things that are part of business, like communication, customer service, just answering questions, being the front desk, being that person that's up there, you're not really prepared for that because you thought this was like a everybody doing it so I can jump on it. But there's work that's required because you got to work on yourself. Definitely. There's days when sometimes people are intentionally rude to you and you still have to be presentable. You still have to carry yourself with composure. Doesn't mean they're right, but that's a part of being an entrepreneur. And like you said, I've gone into restaurants where I had to say hi first. When I worked in customer service, brick and mortar, that was like a no-no. Like when the customer comes in, you're supposed to greet the customer. You're supposed to say, how are you doing? You're supposed to be creating conversations. There was never a moment when I was looking down on my phone or when I was standing in a corner just chilling when a customer or a guest is in my presence. And that's always how I was trained to do things. So when I go places and I'm just chilling on a wall, waiting, where is everybody? And then also when I see people going through that and then they say things like nobody wants to buy, well, that's because they didn't know y'all were in business. I wouldn't know either. Nobody said hello. There's nobody at the front desk. The person who's supposed to be helping me is behind, hiding behind a wall, texting on her phone. The person that's supposed to be cooking is chilling in the
I mean, you got two cashiers up there, they talking, they ain't walking up, ain't they just standing there. You gonna ask me,
yeah,
can you take my order, please?
yeah.
I'm like, you working today? I'll be fine. You working today? Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Can I? Yeah, I'm like, you're supposed to say something. And then and it comes to like management, because I did management
yeah,
in retail and restaurant, and it comes to management because you can't let people just get away. Like how you train them, you have to keep doing. If I got to do a training class once a month on customer service, you're gonna get it, because if you want to work here, you need to say, hello, hi, can I take your order? Welcome in,
yep,
whatever.
yep.
Because if not, that means you don't want to be here, and we're gonna have to go on to the next person. So
That's
yeah.
very true. It is management, it is leadership. What you make important is what will be important in your space. So if you make it a non-negotiable for customer service, that's what we're going to do. Because I know that if I'm
Hmm.
going to be here, like you said, I'm going to take care of those customers. But a lot of places, people are either tired or they're in an industry that they don't want to be in. So they don't have that follow through of if you're going to be on this team, this is required. So then you have people chilling on walls, hiding behind desks, running when you ask them questions. But it is true. I think that experience factor is kind of gone away. It got diluted a little bit because everybody wanted to become an entrepreneur, but everybody didn't want to do those entrepreneurial things like communication, follow through, just acknowledging the customers when they walk in, stuff like that. And you have to make a choice. You have to decide, is it important enough for me to do so that I can grow my business, or is it something that I'm okay with not doing and missing out on some really great opportunities? And once you make that decision, that's the line that your business goes into. Because for me, that was something, it's always a non-negotiable if you're here. Because if I'm here and I'm working as hard as I am, you got to be working as hard or you just can't be here. But that was me as a manager. Everybody's different. And it also takes guts to be bold enough. The way you were saying, they have to be bold enough to tell the customers what they might need. You have to be bold enough to tell your team you can't be here if you're not ready to work at that standard. And that's hard for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another thing too. You know, they get ran over a little bit sometimes a little pushover, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, couldn't be me, baby. But great feedback, great conversation. Is there anything else you would like to add that you think might help entrepreneurs with, kind of small, decreasing that gap between their clients?
Um, Decreasing the gap between the clients. Um, I kind of narrowed it down to some basic stuff, especially if you're starting out, that's just basic stuff. The
Yeah.
high end is when you paying for automation, different things like that. So that's a whole nother generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you need it, like when I first started out, I invested a lot of money because I was trying to learn it, I was trying to get it, and I was like, I can't get it, I'm not getting it. So I paid somebody to do it for me, you know what I'm saying? So when you starting out, if you already got the basics, but if you got the money to invest where you can make it seem like it's you, then by all means go into the automation and do what you got to do. But yeah, that's my intake on about it. Just, having good customer service, having, good responses, keeping your composure, um, regardless, because sometimes everybody not gonna agree with you. Everybody not gonna give you a 5-star
Yep.
um review. But if you want to find out why, just ask them why. They should be able to say, well, when I got there, X, Y, and Z, I wasn't happy with, or this, and that. I apologize. Is there anything else I can do? Learn how to be apologetic and and learn how to grow from it. So that's my intake.
That's great feedback and great perspective. Thank you, Shalon. I appreciate that. Let's see, Devron, what about you? What's your take on this?
Oh, I agree with everything y'all was saying, and especially the training that all entrepreneurs get trained in HR training so they could really understand the ins and out of any business and how to retain customers and how
Mm-hmm.
to treat the customers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't see some crazy things lately. People getting beat up because they talking to the customer crazy.
Mm.
Customer going behind y'all was talking about fast food. They going behind the fast food,
Oh
beating
yeah.
the employees and all that. Yeah, yeah, but always be professional. Soft skills and hard skills to learn.
Mm,
Um, when I was in college, we was taught that we had a few tests on them, hard and soft skills. That learning those skills help go a long way. Being professional, being a problem solver, things of that sort. But more importantly, what's the word? Just being having patience and having humility. Cause it's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna come all at once. You got to keep working at it. Is it as you keep working at it, the better you get at it. So
I definitely agree with you on that one. Soft skills really do help. I think that's the training that a lot of people miss when they start building that business, because they underestimate how important it is for communication. Because it's not just great for the client; it's also great for your team members. And if you have a great communication with your team and your team understands what their expectations are, that transfers into the customer experience. That's another thing too, that I have over the years really started to focus in on is how clear can I be to my team so that when it comes down to delivering services, resources, information, they're able to do that at the same quality that I would do it at. So I definitely agree with you on that. And then also the HR training, that's a good one because everybody who starts a business isn't always from the corporate 9 to 5, or if they are, they might not have had the role where they had to be on top of the HR stuff. So I would recommend, that's a good recommendation.
and what and it's your business, so you need to know all the HRs in and out things that you will have to oversee yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, you probably will put somebody in charge of it, but you still overseeing that person you put in charge of it to make sure everything is running smoothly.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. That's a good takeaway. Anything else you want to share?
Ever since she said that, I was getting my thoughts together. I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
Yeah,
If you want, I can take over, and then if you have any last thoughts you want to add, I'll be more than happy to bring it
yeah,
back.
that's fine. You can go
Okay,
ahead.
let's do that. So I do have, well, if I'm able to take over, because okay, there we go. So, for me, there's two things that popped up in my mind when it comes to how to have a better client experience. The first one is I'm gonna say it's you would think it's self-explanatory, but not always. And that is learn when a client is a great fit for you and when they're not a great fit for you, and let them go if they're not quickly. And even though it might sound like, oh, let go of customers, I don't want to do that. Sometimes you'll be doing somebody a better service to let them go so they can find the right professional that works and aligns with them, because everybody's expectations are different, everybody's preferences are different, everybody's layout of business is different. So learning not to be selfish in the sense of I want to keep them, I don't want to let them go, or even just not beating yourself up and thinking that it's a negative thing because you let them go. But
Can I
that's
say something?
oh yeah, go ahead.
And then guess what? My battery. I was like, this battery. You just said that. And I was like, what? This battery is stupid. But you are absolutely correct about that part. Yes. When to let somebody go and
Hmm.
acknowledging them. And then another tip is it's enough room for everybody to grow. It's enough
Hmm.
money for you to have a business and they to have a business. So
Yeah.
like being in competition. Like it ain't no
Yeah.
competition. Like and I think like during COVID, everybody learned that they can have a business. And
Hmm.
so like you can't even have a conversation without people saying, well, it's $65 for 30 minutes for us to have a conversation. I'm like, oh my God, I just have one question. I just have one question. No, you want to talk to 35 minutes. And I'm like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? When you get to a certain status, I get it. But that kind of like, yeah, I'm like, some business owners like really, really, and then even with professional, the ones that's up there that's made the money, I've taken several classes, and I feel like once they get you and you paid, that you lost. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like you just
Yeah.
another individual. So
Yeah.
not like you can't treat your clients like that like another individual. But I know when you get to a certain status, you can't keep up with everybody. But it
Hmm.
should be something where you able to, like I said, if you at a certain status, you can send out those automations. But
Yeah.
that right there, that kind of yeah, that kind of
She got
that
triggered.
tug that it tugs at
she
me.
she was about to jump
But
through the screen.
yeah,
I'm
but
right with you on that.
And
They
then
want you
Deron
to
was over
pay.
there nodding his head while you were
Yes,
talking. He over there. Yes,
they
yes.
want you to pay an arm and a leg for a consultation. I'm like,
Oh,
what?
so you know
yeah.
what? This is a great conversation. I got to get in on this. Here's the thing. Sometimes
Yes, wait, go
entrepreneurs.
ahead. Write in your notes. This is gonna be another topic, okay?
Oh yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
is gonna
yeah,
be
yeah. Because we
this is
we
gonna
gonna
be
have
a
to make a whole podcast about
yeah,
this. But
it's gonna be another topic now because I gotta get ready to go. But I just want to thank you. Yeah, I want to
of
thank you for
course,
having me. I've been trying to get on the podcast, but it's like I always have. This is my time. I be working, and so and today I was really didn't have nobody, and then I got I had got last minute book, and
got
I'm like, oh my
slammed
God,
last
you
minute.
know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. But I want to, yeah, I appreciate you and everything you do. You are doing a awesome job. Keep it
Thank
up. I'm
you.
trying to keep up with you, girl. I'm trying. I'm trying
You're
to
doing
keep
a
up
good
with
job.
you,
You're doing
know.
a great job.
The old lady, I got the old lady brain sometimes.
No,
But
you're doing an amazing job.
yeah, so I want to say that and yeah, continue to do what you do and I'll definitely be back with the more podcast and I'll be ready. Okay?
Thank
We
you. Thank you
we're
so
gonna have
much.
to do it on a Sunday or something.
Well, we got one for Soft Girl Sunday. We might do another one for one of the future ones way down the line, like maybe in a couple months or so. But I do appreciate you for coming on, Shalon. It was great having you, and I hope you enjoy your next client. And I look forward to seeing you again because this is a great conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And if you anybody want to get in contact with me, my number is 682-334 888-726-7604. You can always call and text me. And again, I'll see you guys soon. And make sure y'all rewatch, share it, and
We
rewatch
will. We're
everything
gonna put
because
her
this is a
website
great
for sure.
topic.
Yes, it
This is an
is.
awesome topic.
I'm gonna add the website. Thank you, Shalon. You have a great rest of your evening.
Yeah, have a great
All
rest
right.
of the week.
See y'all
All right.
later.
All right.
So I'm gonna finish off what Shalon was talking about. Here's the thing, entrepreneurs. This is a really great tip. Some entrepreneurs don't realize the difference between a service consultation versus servicing consultation. And what I mean by that is when a person is, or let me say a discovery consultation. So what Shalon was just talking about, she was like, well, sometimes people want you to pay 65, 70, or whatever price, and you just have one question. Well, this is how you can find a solution to this and bridge that gap with your potential clients and your leads. Have a discovery call, and then you have a actual consultation, or you're delivering the service. The discovery call eliminates a lot of things. It eliminates you servicing and feeling like, oh, I serviced but I didn't actually get paid to service. It also eliminates the questions that an entrepreneur or a business owner or a customer might have about your brand. So creating a discovery call and having a place where people can go to book that with you so y'all can sit down in an intentional time to really discuss this in detail, that can eliminate that problem for a lot of people. I can even use my brand as an example. Before I had my discovery calls, that's what they're called, but before I had it named that, I also had something else called the business support session. And this was a session dedicated to helping business owners understand what services they're needing, and then also understanding what funding status they're at so we could find the best thing for them. For example, if somebody came to me and they said, hey, I need a professional website. I don't want to operate it. I just want someone to do it for me. And then I asked them, okay, so what's your budget? What's your funding look like for this? And they say, about $600. From there, I can then go and outsource and try to find professionals that are verified in my community that can do this, or I can provide or recommend businesses that I know in our community already do these services. So that is essentially where we're sitting down and I'm answering their questions, but it's not me giving them, business consultations, walking through and providing free services or things like that. That's more so understanding what they need and then figuring out what I can provide for them. So I do want to offer that as a solution. If there's any entrepreneurs out there who have not yet done that or tried that, you may want to consider that. Any thing you want to share about that, Devon? Anything you want to share on that?
Well, no, I agree with you with what you're doing. That sounds like a productive solution. No, right. Because I was watching something. I would say like 2 years ago, back in 2024,
Mm-hmm.
and I shared it because the boy would say it's a lot of dry heaters out here, and I'm like, what do you mean dry heaters? I heard of dry snitching, but when he explained it, it made sense. He said he was saying that people that know how to like got a skill set and know how to do things, yes. We understand people want to make money off their knowledge and that's cool or whatever. But then when he brought it to where how other races they pour their resources and help each other, really help each other out. We know it's people that's gonna what's the word, waste time and not take things serious. We just weed them out. So that's why people charge people to weed out the people who not serious to the people that's serious. And I understand that. But what he was saying was for sometimes for us to get ahead as a people, we have to and we know how to do something. We sometimes we don't gotta charge people certain things. Like just charge because everybody all about I need to make money off this or it's not worth my time and stuff like this. And I'm like, I said he got a point there, but I understand both sides of it. So I can see why he was calling them dry heaters. Cause they stopping somebody from learning the information. But there's other ways to learn it, but it probably take them longer. But I understand. I'm like, for entrepreneurs, everybody looking to get instant gratification. It's not always instant gratification. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
work. You gotta work hard at it. Everybody
Yeah.
want to live the everybody want to be a, like a social media influencer, but they don't know it's going to be 5 to probably 10 years until they might go viral. Because you never know when you're going to go viral. So,
Yeah.
but everybody trying to do it and everybody not succeeding at it.
Yeah. And
And
I
they be
think
quick
too,
to give up because it's not instantly.
yeah, yeah, that's very true. I think also um, we put a limit to what value could mean because entrepreneurs will assume that there's only one way of providing one another value. Even if you're not able to spend money with a person, maybe you're able to barter, maybe you're able to collaborate, maybe you're able to work for them in exchange for information, do an internship. These are all different ways that we could still build our community without necessarily just spending money if you're not at a place where you're able to do that yet. But there's just two things that you have to do. The first thing is you have to be transparent about that because sometimes people are not transparent about that. They act as if they're wanting one thing only so they can get information for the other. But if you are transparent, you'll find people who are willing to provide that value. And then the second thing is you got to be ready to show up for that because just like you were saying, that instant gratification, that's not really going to be the case when you're doing that work on your own. But we sometimes put a limit on how we can provide value to one another. There's nothing wrong with bartering. There's nothing wrong with working underneath somebody and shadowing them. There's nothing wrong with a collaboration. But sometimes I think because entrepreneurs have in their mind the only way that it can be productive is if you're making money, that's where we lose that ability to see those collaborations or mentorships or different events where you can both be receiving mutual value. So I would say I agree to an extent with that, and I would also encourage other entrepreneurs to continue to push and find ways that they can grow their business and collaborate, even if you're not at the place where you can spend a certain amount of money, because there's always somebody out there who's willing to provide what it is that you need at the price that you are able to pay, even if that's instead of it $0, maybe it's 2 podcast features. There's somebody out there, but you have to keep asking. You have to keep moving. When someone says that that's not for them, you just got to get up and move to the next room to find the person who's ready to do that with you.
Yep.
So I would add that encouragement. What'd you say?
And as they prepare, like they could always be preparing, getting trainings done and all that. So as long as they prepare, once the opportunity come, they could jump right in. They already prepared. They know how to do it. They didn't study over 1,000 hours or however many hours they need.
Yeah, that's true. Preparation makes a huge difference. I get people who will ask me about collaborations often, and the biggest thing that I look for is a person that, like you said, shows that they have prepared or they have worked for this, because I can't do the work for you. I want to work with you, but I can't do it for you. There's a difference. And so I look for people that are prepared or are putting in that work and time and energy, because you don't have to have all the money in the world to put in the effort. So when you see people who do that, that usually tends to mean behind that person is someone who is like, or behind that dream is someone who is determined and passionate and ready to work, even if they don't have all the funds just yet. So I'm definitely with you on that. The first part that I was sharing, Shalon kind of mentioned something that was great, and then we ended up giving some more business insight. But I also talked about how sometimes having a great relationship with your clients can come from transparency and knowing when something is not a good fit. You might have a client, but then maybe you're not the best fit for whatever it is that they're needing or wanting, or what it is that you provide no longer is something that they need. Sometimes having that conversation and being transparent is the best way to create a strong, long-lasting relationship with your client, because they're going to appreciate your authenticity and they're going to remember you when they're thinking of people to work with that are here to get the job done and that are prioritizing their success over your ego or over your want or need for clients. So that's one way. Another way that you can develop a stronger relationship with your clients is through, similar to transparency on that side, also being a transparent provider. So sometimes consultants, business coaches, any service providers, they're a little scared of being honest with their clients, and they're more focused on their clients liking them than their clients succeeding or being accountable. And you have to take away that urge or that want to be quote unquote liked and focus on what you were paid to do. So if you want to have a better relationship with your clients, you're going to have to be transparent with them about things that need to be done in order to ensure their success. And that has helped me because from the beginning, when it comes to my clients, if they're paying me for something, then that means they paid and they want this service, this experience. So if I see something that doesn't make sense, if I see something that's pulling them back, if I notice that we're still on the same topics that we've been on for the past 3 or 4 months, I'm going to have that conversation with them. And in the beginning, they might not feel like it's something that's about their success, but after having the conversation, it's very clear that I'm dedicated to their growth, not to the idea of them liking me. And that actually creates a space for loyalty and people wanting to come back and shop with you and wanting to know your opinion. So I would say that's another way that you can create a closer, relationship with your clients and better experiences. Be honest with them about what
Yep.
you can do, about what they might want to do, about how you can help them, about how they could help themselves, about things that you're noticing that aren't helping them. Be honest, because that's what they paid you for. So
Yep.
unless they paid you to lie, now I don't know, I'm not in that business, but if they paid you to if they paid you to lie, that might be a different story. But a lot of people
That's
are paying because they want the truth.
Yep. That's what I learned in my own class too. They said the whole principle of HR is to train the employees under you so they could succeed, so they could make the business grow. If the business is growing, that means we giving the customers what they need and want.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, very true.
So everybody is winning. So
Yeah,
the company winning, the customers winning, and the employees winning.
yeah. I definitely
Everybody's winning.
I support that. I've noticed that with time, as I grow my teams, whether it was for my business or another business, focusing in on making sure the employees feel passionate, excited, they understand what the priorities are, communicating with them in a way that I would want them to communicate with the clients. It does lead to a more prosperous business. It does lead to further expansion, and you can see it in their passion when they're working with people, when they're talking to people, whether they're in person employee or worker, or whether they're one of the team members that are virtual. You can just tell that there's excellence, there's precision, there's passion behind all of the individuals that work with me or that work for Boss Babe Blog. So I do agree with that. I do. And it becomes a lot less work when you become that type of leader, because people just naturally want to do it themselves. They're just naturally wanting to be excellent or strive for excellence if they're not already amazing, which my team
Yep.
is. But that's just how I feel. So I agree with you on that. The other thing that I think we can do to help create a stronger relationship with our clients is sometimes just affirm them. You don't always have to be selling something. You don't always have to be promoting something. And you don't always have to be requesting payment. It could be something as simple as, hey, keep up the amazing work. Here's a resource for you. Or, hey, I hope your day's going well. Try this resource out. Or a quote. So for me personally, what I love to do is in between my consultations and like working, I try my best, probably like at least 1 to 4 times a month inside of my private directory member chat. I'll post quotes in the chat. I'll sometimes share funny reels. I'll post resources. Sometimes I'll just share a message about life. Like if it's something that I'm going through or I went through, I'll share little quotes and messages in there, quotes of the month, stuff like that. Just because you never know how those messages impact a person. And it might not feel like it makes a big difference, or you might not think like, how could this really affect anything? But I've had people come back to me in private and tell me like, watching your show or listening to this message really pushed me to keep going because I really was feeling like giving up. Or, one day was feeling really down and I saw this message that you posted and it really changed my perspective, or it changed the way I was thinking for that day. So when you hear that, even if you don't hear it, if you love doing it, keep doing it because somebody's feeling it, even if they haven't told you. But when you feel that and you get to see how it impacts people, it really does warm your heart. So for me, that's what I do. And I also want to be, I don't know if I want to use the word fair, but I want to be realistic towards the entrepreneur doing this. Show up where you can show up. And when you show up, do it at 100%. I think that's the way we can see excellence. Don't try to be everywhere at once. Don't try to please everybody at once because you'll never do it. Don't try to be accessible all the time. Focus on showing up where you can show up. And when you show up, you do it 100%. And that has helped me a lot because on days when I know I need to rest and I just simply cannot be in the building, I rest and I step out of the building. And then when I am replenished, I can come back in, at my high, happy, excited, passionate self. So that would be the advice that I would give. So you don't have to send quotes every week or every other week to have a great relationship with your clients. You could send out, once a month. You can send out every 2 months. You could call them during the holidays. Sometimes I'll call my clients during the holidays and just say happy holidays, or, when things change up. Sometimes I'll just call just to check in and say hello. Um, and it's always a wonderful feeling and great way to connect with people. It's funny too when I call sometimes, because one time I called someone and they were like, "What did I do?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What did you do?" It's just like, "What did I do? You calling me on the phone? What did I do?" I said, You didn't do anything. I'm just calling to say happy holidays. I just want to say you're doing a good job. That's it." But that's because we'd be so intense in those consultations. But yeah, that's definitely one way I would say.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I agree with everything you said. But listen, I get brain fog a lot. That's why I gotta get this health together. These get these what you call. But matter of fact, I remember now.
Okay,
Speaking about
okay.
brain fog,
Okay,
um,
good.
all entrepreneurs need therapy, and the reason I say that is because we it's a, we say it's not a competition, but it is a competition. Because when you're in business, there's always a competition, and sometimes you're gonna lose. At some days, you're gonna lose some days, and it's okay. Just get up and try again the next day. But some people be going through it when they lose. They don't know how to lose. So we all need some type of therapy, mental health. That's why they have mental health to help people deal with whatever they going through.
Yeah.
Cause we all have death in families and friends that pass away or whatever the case may be. Some type of life crisis is going on. So we all need therapy to help us get through it. Cause it'll be days like you were saying, months like somebody on the same thing and y'all same conversation, they probably just going through something they not actually getting it. When you say you gotta have a conversation, they probably just going through something mentally that they gotta they can't talk to you about. They just gotta talk to a professional that handle mental health. Then they come back to like, yeah, girl, I had to handle this or go to therapy for that because I wasn't something was wrong and blase blase whatever it was. But yeah, I have seen people go through that. Just listening to, 'cause I watch a lot of podcasts from different people, and they talk about their how they first started out in their business and to how they got up where they at now. So I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, so they went through a process. Like they had to take mental breaks from the like they had to leave it completely, then come back to it, and they was able to succeed because they took that time to work on their mental health to help them get through whatever they were trying to accomplish. So
Yeah. That's a really great, great, great tip. When you get therapy and you focus on your healing, it does show in your work and in how you deal with customers and how you deal with other entrepreneurs. And I agree with that. There's been a lot of times where I've met or seen entrepreneurs and I see the way they speak to people, I see how they interact with people, and I see what they expect out of people. And just from watching, I feel like you need to get some professional therapy, because we cannot hold other people accountable for our healing or for our happiness or even for our dreams and our goals. But when
yeah,
you haven't gotten the proper healing, you look at everybody else as if it's their job to do those things for you. It's your job to make me smile. It's your job to make me feel confident. It's your job to make me feel secure. It's your job to make me want things or to work hard for myself. It's your job to make me take care of my health. And that's not the reality. And so I was just talking about this. I didn't publish it yet because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to publish it. But I was talking about how a lot of people say they want partners and they want friends, but really they want parents. Like you want someone that does everything for you mentally, intellectually, emotionally. And that's not fair to anybody. Like that's not a fair relationship. Unless they're your actual parent. And even then, parents don't do all of that. Like parent, you still have to do the work. You still have to want things. You still have to go out and educate yourself. You still have to try to accomplish things. And when they don't get therapy, it just shows. You can see it. And like you said, we say it's not a competition, but I've seen people that express and show in how they treat people that you are competing. And you're not competing with yourself, you're competing with people that are irrelevant to your growth. And that's really what the problem is. So I do competing and comparing, two things we don't need to be doing in entrepreneurship, unless you're talking analytics. But as far as just comparing yourself to the next person, it's unhealthy. So I do agree with you. I do think that therapy can be a really huge game changer because once you become an entrepreneur, you have to hold yourself accountable. There's nobody to point the finger to. Everything is on you. And if you don't take care of yourself and if you don't ask yourself the hard questions, you don't see the big growth. So I'm
Yeah.
with you on that one. I hope that this podcast was helpful to anyone out there who's struggling with creating relationships with their clients, but also with growing their business. We did share a lot of different tips and insight. And I would like to just thank Shalon for joining us in between her sessions. And I would also like to thank Devon for joining us as well and having this conversation. The next podcast discussion, let me check and see what we're talking about. Our next podcast discussion is about what advice do we have for business owners to help them have better relationships with other business owners. So thank you all so much for listening and watching the Boss Babe Blog podcast. I am your host, Katan, and I will see you guys again. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this conversation and make sure to visit and learn all about these wonderful brands at bossbabeblog.com. Thank you, Devon.
You're welcome.